Alright, so here's the tank. The Fantastic Tanks banner, and we're gonna start dropping some of these guys in there. So most of these should be separated pretty well. Let's give it a go. Grab these, pull it up. I'm going to merge. Oh, do we want to merge that down? Let's see what we got. That's doing a little bit of work back there. And that guy. So actually, I'm going to get rid of that one. And bring this down here. And maybe we pin that. Do we want to pin that or not? What's that do? Yeah, we'll go with that. Alright, so we'll merge that, bring it in as an asset. And there we go. So this can come down here, back behind these guys. That's the group. So that's all in the background. I see how it is. Oh, something like that. Somewhere in there. Okay, so he's in. Is this guy grouped up appropriately? Here's the turret. There's the base. Everybody's happy. Control Shift C. And Control V. And we drop this guy in. Yes, I will continue. Okay. And of course we're going to move these around based on the lighting so that the lighting matches up between these images. Let's see if we can grab this guy right here. Bada bing. And Control Shift C. We actually don't need to paste in here. We can just paste it right in there. Here we go. Now over here. Any of these? No. See, this one's a little trickier. We did not store that tank in there as a separate shape. Very naughty. And it looks like we did the same thing here. So at this point, I'm looking for pretty straightforward solutions. So I'm not going to, unless there's a compelling reason, I'm not going to jump into doing those other masking these guys out and pulling them. There may be a reason to do so, but I'm not excited to do that right now. Okay, so we'll drop that guy in, and we'll grab this other one. Boop. Grab that one. Bring him in. See, our light is kind of coming straight down on this image, whereas in the other one, it's here, it's a little bit from that side. This one's a little stronger from that side. So we gotta deal with that. Do we want that up there? Do we want it over here? That one's got to go back behind. And of course we can scale all these things as we go. So a smart thing to do, no pun intended, is to turn these into smart objects. So well, first let me bring in this fries tank to see what we've got as far as our selection. Nope. Yeah, I do kind of like having that, you know, that smokiness in there, but we'll see. This is the woes of not painting these in a way that is really conducive to editing. And I do from time to time get pretty reckless with my painting, so that I'm just dealing with you know, the strokes on the canvas. Sometimes you gotta make sure they're nice and clean, though I don't think that that's always necessary. You know, if you know what you're doing, you can pull things out pretty quickly. So we'll go with this. We'll do Control-Shift-C, and we'll come back over here, paste that one in, and we got that tank there. Okay, so we're going to turn these into smart objects and start composing. Then we'll decide if we need any of the other tanks, or if we want to just go back to some of the sketches and take the tanks that are in the background and, you know, paint new tanks. No problem with that. But I thought this would be a good way to get an idea of where this is all going. So I'm going to take these. I'm going to take these tanks that we just brought in. I'm going to change them to smart objects, so that way we can scale them up and down without losing any of that original data. And then when we're happy with it, then we'll rasterize them, make them editable again, just start painting on them. So what does a smart object do? It takes the image that you've got and all that pixel data, and I'll zoom right in. I'll show you. It takes this pixel data and it stores it in a separate file. And we scale this down. Let's say we scale it to 1%. That seems reasonable. And hit OK. Okay, so where did it go? There it is. That little guy right there. Okay. We zoom in on that. Hey, little fella. All right, so now this is all pixelated, right? And if you're working with rasterized graphics, which I'll take this and I'll say this is the, we'll rasterize this layer. So this is a tank raster, and this is a tank smart object. All right, so we'll take these two and we'll scale them both back up. So 51%, what do we gotta do? Gotta add some zeros in there. Pop, pop. Okay, so that should get us back to where we were. Nope, not quite. Need another 0. There. That looks right. See all those pixels? Is that what we wanted? Because all those pixels, when we brought it down, is going to end up with this blurry image when we bring it back up. But we hide that. We go back to our smart object. Our smart object still had all of that original data from its original size, and it stored it in there. So you can go up and down in scale and you're not going to lose any of that fidelity. So back to the comparison. This is the one that was in a raster form. That would be just the pixels on the screen in this file. So as we scale this down, we actually lose all that extra data when it combines those pixels for the smaller version. So when we come back up, we've lost that data, and we can only work with the few pixels that it had when it was smaller. So anyway, that's what smart objects do. That was probably a longer explanation than you needed, but I don't want it to always assume that everybody knows what I'm talking about with those things and why we're doing it that way. So we're going to rasterize all of these. Rasterize. We are going to convert all of the rasters into smart objects so that we can resize them, move them around, skew them, all that, and not lose any of the data. This is the Unihap tank. And what do we got here? I think this is the bulb tank. It's got a bulbous head. This one actually is not that far off from one of the early World War I designs that had a tall top turret like that. I mean, obviously this is kind of extreme in its proportions and so forth, but the proportion of the body to the turret was actually not that far off. All right, and then our balloons. So we're gonna rasterize that guy, or convert to smart object. My bad. Balloon. And the red balloon. Okay, so now from these ones that we've got the data, we're just gonna get rid of them because we don't need these files open anymore. Now the bottom two we weren't able to, or rather we have not yet pulled the tanks out of those images, but we can work with these ones right now. Okay. So usually when I do this, I'm looking for these leading lines, right? So if I go like this, right, so these lines converge here, whereas if I put it on the other side, they converge this way. So it's just the way that that turret is facing. So then that would make me think this should be farther out from the center, so that with this composition, I want to lead everything into the center. And we're going to have the logo right here. So that is going to influence the decision for where I place it. Same thing here. I'm going to look to see, is this better? These look like, this one looks like it's probably farther out, so we'll move this one up like that. And we'll start scaling them down. So Control T for your transform. I keep forgetting that you don't have to hold Shift anymore. That was very nice of them to do that, but if only my internal software were updated to match the update on the system. Lame dad joke, sorry. Okay. And this guy, bring that one in. That's maybe something like that. Down, up, down, up, down, like that. Okay, and this guy right here. Bring this in. Switch sides with them. That is also something to consider. That we could. They don't have to be. They don't have to stay on that same side there. So I'm going to adjust, whoops. I'll adjust the location of these so that there's more of a rhythm of kind of, you know, toot, 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 toot kind of thing rather than a pyramid. We'll see how that works compositionally. Shift F2 on that guy, switch sides. I think he works. I think it works there. This one's gonna do the same thing. Shift F2. That's I think that's just a hotkey that I made up. That I have an action that will flip. I'm sure there is a transform. Let's see. Flip horizontal. There may be a hotkey in the, you know, Photoshop default that'll do that, but you know, I've got things going on that have been there for a while, so I just got used to that, and I kept that hotkey. All right, let's swap this guy. What I had before. You go there. You. I do kind of like this over here, but I liked what was going on with having it kind of jump. You know, this one to that one. This one's, you know, kind of coming off the screen here. Maybe the barn we go a little smaller with. We'll convert that to a smart object. So, using the background there. This needs to be adjusted a little bit for that to ground it. Okay, this guy. Switch this guy around. Go that away. I like that being tucked behind like that, but maybe we just take this guy out of the picture altogether. Start hiding some of these ones back here. Bring this guy to the other side. Do. chopper. Size this guy down. I like that diagonal motion there, so I don't want to lose that too much, but I also want to keep it in line with what we're doing with the rest of the image here. And as you can see, the lighting is reversed from some of those other ones, so we need to make sure we're not getting lost with that. Chopper. Convert that to a smart object. Do we want it on this side? Okay, I think we actually need to reopen that last one there. The balloon tanks here. I do have another image with these, with this balloon concept. Actually, I have a couple in this with this theme that we can get in. And not particularly developed, but you know, getting the idea. So this one, I think I'll grab these background guys here. One moment. Oh, excuse me. Sneezing. All right. And grab that character. And we'll go back to over here, paste that in. I'll grab the other one. Grab that. Paste it in. So do we want these guys over here? I think these might end up just being silhouettes, you know, we'll just kind of darken them up so they're not doing too much. Let's see, just lock that in, grab some of this. That's good, lock that one in. All right. Look at this with some fresh eyes. I think maybe this should just be smaller in general. Like he's way back there. Of course, that lens distortion. So this, you know, kind of distorts as if it's close and getting, you know, past the lens or whatever. So that might not work, you know, we get way back in the background. It's not working so well for us. Yeah, I'm not sure if I'm gonna get this one to work. switch it left and right again. So maybe take this guy over here, back to where he was. I think that's where he's going to be on the horizon. Bring this one in front of the uni hat. So you can hold Alt, click where you want the center to be, and then if you hold Alt when you scale it, it's gonna scale from that center point that you set up. So if you want to like set a horizon line or something like that, that's a decent way to do that. This one I just get the sense it's just not going to work. Yeah, sorry, this is all the boring stuff of design. You know, you've done most of the painting and now it's just getting the layout. Let's get our choppers. Get them up a little higher, maybe. So would these be cooler, as in more interesting over here? You know, kind of drawing the eye in like this. Or do we want them on the other side? like that. Maybe a little smaller though. Now, there's a lot to play with to get this image dialed in, but I'm gonna go with this. So we can get some of these dialed in with curves and color balance. So let's see here. Get our unihap. I'm getting the sense that we're going to have to add a lot more, light coming from this, orange for that one. Getting picked up on the white. Bulb tank. Get our curves on this guy. And let me just go zoom in a little bit here so we can move it around and deal with it without. So we're going to cap the bright so that it can't really get too bright there. And we cap the dark as well. And then we're just looking for the appropriate value range to put that in. Same with these guys. And we're just trying to get this more balanced out here and get these to blend into the scene a little better. Okay. Then we can add in some color. So like this guy, for example, I think he needs a color balance. And we're going to try to shift these tones to better match the background there. Welcome to another edition of Eric Moves Sliders. In this episode, Eric's going to slide some sliders. We'll adjust colors. Each slider represents a different hue. Try this at home. Okay. This guy. You need a color balance. You're awfully blue, sir. actually kind of like that, but we'll get that dialed in at some point. Okay, I think we need our highlights to be more leveled off here, more neutral to the image. Midtones. And shadows. Play with those midtones again. And sometimes what I'll do is I'll kind of let my eyes go out of focus, and I'll look past the image and just see, does it blend in? That's what we're going for. Somewhere in that range, I think. That's where we need to be. Go back to our shadows. Okay, this guy needs that might be a little too green, but we'll come back to it. Some of the stuff we can do by hand, we're getting ourselves in the ballpark here. Pin that down. So we're adjusting this guy right here, that unihap tank. I'm gonna try to get these values much more in line with the surrounding image, or rather the hue much more in line with the surrounding image. Sometimes my mouth just gets going and words come out, and that's doesn't mean they're going to be accurate. Okay. I think somewhere in there is good. That makes me want to come back to this one and knock some of that green out a little bit. Midtones, highlights, and shadows. I think it just gets too dark. That's what's bothering me about it. Like, I want to bring in those reds, but I don't want it to go so dark. Okay, so now if we want to bring in just a little bit of painting on top of this, what I would think is we go underneath everything first to get our shadows figured out, like get things blended in. So let's go, it's there. So do a blend layer. Okay, and I'm just going to grab some dark color here and that kind of vicinity color-wise, and we'll just bring it in, make it a little darker than that. Okay, and then we can come up tank by tank and add in some of these rim lights here. So if I grab this value right there, or that color, and bring that in on the edges here. So it's picking up light from, that source over there. And then we do the same thing. Let's do this guy. Let me watch. Do a little bit on that one. Similar situation. Some of this is probably going to blend in, I'm sure, so I have to be careful with that. Similar thing. We grab some of that light. And in this case, I think we want to go a little brighter yellow in there. Now this whole design is subject to adjustment here, because this is going to change with the the requirements for that page and everything. But switch this around and get that lighting worked out a little closer to the scene. barn. I think the barn already has some light, rim lights on it, but we will do more. I guess that's how we roll. Gonna have all the bounce light, all the extras, rims and so forth. Now, part of the point of this is to get, not just the edge of the silhouette, but some of the parts inside of the silhouette, contained within there to show that, this here pops out in front of, other portions of the, of that tank body there. And if that's, if you're pushing some things forward in space that shouldn't be, it's going to break the illusion. Or at least it's going to give the illusion that something is closer to the viewer than it is. And just got to be mindful at this stage. The information that you're putting in with highlights is actually information that's going to help lead the eye and help give the viewer a sense of what they're seeing. All right, so I'm going to trim some of these out here, get a little bit tighter with that, and here, that little bit there, and just hit delete. See you later. Go. Now, this whole character here, this knight, I think needs a little bit of a curves or color balance on it. I'm going to start with curves just to get the values blocked in a little closer. Let's go up above everything, and we're going to do kind of like a tie-in layer. We're going to start grabbing these, some of these values here, blending them into each other so that it's one cohesive image. I need to actually quiet down this design here with these oranges. Got looking at that with the text overlay that's going to go on top of that, and it's not being friendly. So I'm gonna knock that back. Maybe knock knock these back a little bit here. Getting too shiny. You're greedy. Tank, chest plate thing. You're too greedy with the lights and darks. You gotta share with the rest of the image. Okay. Get some more back here. Need to reverse this lighting here. I had it lit on that one side, and then in reverse sides here. I want that to be picking up some of that light from the from this big, ginormous sun back there. Everyone's ignoring the elephant in the room, that there's a sun the size of who knows what back there, just ominously looming over everything. It'll be fine. I'm sure it's nothing. This is one of those, solar phenomenon that happens every now and then. Sun gets giant, burns everything up. Nothing to see here. Let's see if we can get that to make more sense there. This unihap, we gotta get some of that reflecting in the ground below it. That might be too tall. Again, with the sharing, that guy's taking up a lot of light here in my brights. If I want to reserve some of those values, I'd have to knock this down a little bit. Okay, these guys here. back some of this green. That was kind of a leftover from an earlier rendition of it. There's not a lot of green going on in the image now. These treads, of course, are getting quite gunky, getting sloppy. So we gotta trim them in a little bit. Dial this back a little bit there. Got these little tie downs here, which at some point I'll figure those out and get them sorted. Here, a floodlight type thing, maybe with a cage in front of it. I don't want that to be too contrasty, you know, when I get the text on top of there. So now start just massaging that back slightly. Okay. I think I'm getting into that tired phase where this is unfortunately kind of coming to an end in terms of my energy levels on it. That being said, though, I think there's a lot more to go on this one. To get really dialed in. Oh, you know what? We forgot to do the rim lights on these guys. So here we need to knock some of these out. So let me zoom in. Zoom in there, go to my lasso tool, grab these guys. Here. There. Pull out those ones, this one, that one. And that's probably good. Delete those. I'm gonna grab right here. And then I'm gonna grab these guys. Here. There. Pull out those ones. This one, that one. And that's probably good. Delete those. Delete those. I'm gonna grab right here. And delete those. 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 bring that in. Like I was saying before, you want to show that that is in front of this other bit here. By use of your highlights. And then this, I think, would cast a little bit of a shadow, so this wouldn't really pick up until maybe about there. I don't want it to have a tangent with this, so I'm going to try to get that lined up. Something like that. And then we'll do the other guy. And when I balance this out, I would probably take that, I would probably take these down, maybe closer to an orange. But you know what? I don't feel like now's the time. And this, we don't have to get as detailed, but we're going to just show some of those same ideas there, that the ropes are catching that light. And maybe we will knock that down now. Why not? Adjustment, hue saturation, shift it more towards the red, increase the saturation, lower the value, and get it to where it needs to be, somewhere in there. And we'll do the same thing with the other one. Maybe not to the same extent, but I'm going to shift it over. Actually, kind of like that. Just kind of like that. I'll have to get that dialed in more, but I'm okay with it. I'm okay with being a little bit off. So now this guy, right here. Let's do a rim light on him, and let's do that same thing where we're shifting it towards red. I think we're getting just too strong with that, that color there. And I might adjust this as we go, but for now I want to just get something in that we can play with. Put a little bit on the very top of this gun here. And we may need to adjust that. might be going too crazy. So let's go to our smudge tool. Cut some of this back out. Part of the benefit of this is you kind of are jumping back and forth between these hues that are very close to complementary, so that makes the image pop a little more. But you can certainly take it too far, which that's kind of my jam. Take it too far. Mr. Eric, take it too far, Elwell. Typical. Okay. And blur, well, by blur I mean smudge this in. Cut that edge there so it's a little cleaner. Bring that edge in like that. Make that a little bit more dynamic, you know, what's going on back there. Cut that edge there. All right, let me zoom out. And then we might go ahead and adjust that color. Adjust hue saturation. Bring it up, bring it down. Less, more. Changing the hue. I don't know, I think we're pretty close to where it needed to be. Just to get, you know, a little blend. Going on there. Let's see what that does. We'll jump back and forth. Let me zoom out. It usually helps. I don't know. Some parts I like that, some I don't. So what we can do is lock that in. Go back with our brush back in the stuff that areas that we did like it. And then call it good. All right, I think this is a half decent place to stop on this image. This white tank here is definitely taking a lot of it's being pretty powerful in that scene there, so we'll have to deal with that. But we'll save that for another time, I think. I'm shifting those tones a little bit more towards the magentas. Yeah, I think I like that. Okay. A little different tonight, you know, kind of bashing a bunch of paintings together into a composition. But still had fun with it, and of course there's more to do, more to explore and play with, but I don't know, I enjoy it. I think it's working okay. So thank you guys for, and by, I should say, clarify that that's kind of a colloquialism in the area that I'm at. Guys, it's just like men and women, but it's you all, you guys. Thank you for joining in tonight, and hope you enjoyed it, maybe learned something, and happy painting.